Hello, everybody. Captain Marty Brill here on Friday, May the 23rd. Heading into the weekend. Got a little rain this week, which was nice. And I think we'll get plenty of fishing in as we get through the weekend. A little bit of stuff going on. Got a tournament to tell you about towards the end of today's report. But we'll take a little break right here, and I'll get everything together. I'll be right back to bring you up to date.
Come and experience fishing for the whole family aboard the Crystal Dawn at Pirates Cove Marina in Manteo. The Crystal Dawn is a roomy 65-foot headboat, fully equipped with the latest gear to give you the best fishing experience. Worried about getting seasick? Fear not. The Crystal Dawn stays in safer and shallower waters to lessen the likelihood of that happening. Half-day and private fishing trips are available. To find out more, go online to crystaldawnheadboat.com. The Crystal Dawn Headboat out of Pirates Cove. Fishing that is fun for all ages.
Are you ready for a fishing thrill like no other?
Oh, there he is! There he is! Oh, got him up!
As seen on WikiTune Outer Banks, the Carolina Girl, captained by majestic Jesse Anderson, is a custom, luxurious 53-foot Jarrett Bay built boat running out of Hatteras Harbor Marina. Let Jesse and her crew give you a fishing experience of a lifetime. To book a trip, go online to CarolinaGirlSportFishing.com. Carolina Girl Sport Fishing, your offshore adventure awaits. So we usually start down in Hatteras, but this report will also apply to Ocracoke. I just don't have the contacts down there I have in Hatteras, like Ron Whitaker and Steve Culture, or Creature as we call him, Buddy Hooper, others on the inshore front, Rick Scarborough and Teachers Lair Marina and stuff like that. But it's kind of, I'm not using the word routine lightly, but they are into a routine, hopefully, right now, where they go out. There weren't many boats fishing. I know Rom went yesterday, but he had a nice-looking catch of dolphin and a few blackfin tuna. Now, we know that these dolphin have been all over the size range, from little bailers, which are like 3 to 5 pounds, up to some 20 and 25-pound gaffers. And we also know that the blackfin tuna bite is on, but it's been tough. Everything is just scrap for what you're worth. And then maybe if you're lucky, you'll get a blue marlin bite right in the middle of it. You know why? Because the blue marlin are feeding on the same thing the charters from Ohio are feeding on. Small dolphin and blackfin tuna. And by the way, the blackfin tuna may not be as glorious as the big eyes and the yellowfin tuna, but a lot of people will tell you that it's the best eating of the tunas that we catch. The inshore fleet down that way has been catching some bluefish, some puppy drum, and some large sheephead. That's been fairly routine as well. On some wrecks that are close to the inlet. Now, this report, that part of the report is in the ocean I'm talking about. You know, it's just a pick. I'm not hearing a whole lot about king mackerel fishing, which this time of year, that's usually quite a bit of that going on. I'm not really sure why that is. Maybe I'm not talking to the right people. But I do know that the bluefish and the large sheephead and the puppy drum are keeping people busy with some really good eating fish. At Oregon Inlet, there was some improvement on the yellowfin tuna fishing. I talked to Captain Dickie Harris on the Fantastic. Dickie helps us a lot with information. And he was saying average would be like, I'm going to say 3 to 6 yellowfin tuna to the boat. Maybe a couple boats had a few more. There were a few dolphin or mahi caught. Nothing to write home about there unless you found something floating. And that's one of the neatest things in the whole entire ocean is how these dolphin fish, or mahi-mahi as some people call them in the Pacific Ocean, they will hang around sargasso seaweed beds and any other kind of float that they can find. An old barnacled up board that's been circling out there in the Atlantic Ocean after some big hurricane years ago. That thing, it could be 3 feet long and hold 50 dolphin. It's just the holy grail of make your party happy, make the captain happy. Maybe don't make the mate as happy because he has to work through catching them. But you can catch a limit, which is 60 or so of these fish in 10 minutes if your group is trained up just right and ready to roll. So there have been some of those catches. There also have been a couple of blue marlin. I think Dickie said there was 2 caught in the Oregon Inlet fleet yesterday with a small fleet. A number of boats did not go. They opted out. And on the inshore guys, they're still catching a few cobia, and it seems to me like they've gotten bigger, but it's for specialists. I'd have to say that. It's not a hog kill, and they're not everywhere. There's been bluefish and Spanish mackerel for the folks with the kids and stuff that want to get on a half-day boat and fish along the beach. So it's all good. Pier fishing, got a few things from the piers. As always, I thank Tony Lombardi. I thank Tony Lombardi from WalkingAngler.com. Sea mullet and bluefish on the Avalon Pier in pretty good numbers too. Jeanette Spear reported it has been catching a few cobias, but today they had sheep's head, bluefish, and Spanish mackerel, and sometimes some pretty good numbers on the blues. And also, the Nag's Head Pier had a really good bite at first light this morning on bluefish. So, if I were you, I'd get your metal lures ready for the blues and for the Spanish. So that would be a gotcha plug, a sting silver, a mirror lure, whatever you can throw and retrieve is what you're going to want to use. In the surf, there's been some really good bluefishing down off Hatteras Island. Our sponsor down that way, Red Drum Tackle in Buxton, said it was just a ton of bluefish in the 25 to 30 inch range, which is the perfect surf fishing range. Big enough to pull pretty good, really in that great eating size range. And if you turned your nose up when I said that, you don't know much about seafood or bluefish when they're caught fresh and they're that size, because they're one of my favorites, and most anybody that does it for a living will tell you the same thing. Now, I want it fresh and I want it kept cold when it comes out of the water, but I'd love to have a bucket full of them for dinner in case anybody has more than they need. But that's pretty much what went on everything in the ocean. We'll take a little break right here. I'll get me a little sip of water and we'll come back and talk about the backcountry.
Electricity, something I don't mix well with at all, and that's why I only trust the folks at ELS OBX. ELS OBX offers a variety of services from custom electrical installations to lighting design. ELS OBX has the experience and know-how to complete any job. They're committed to providing the highest quality lighting and electrical installations or service at affordable prices. Visit them online at elsobx.com to get a brighter idea of how shockingly awesome they are. See what I did there? ELS OBX, electrical and lighting solutions you can count on.
In the backcountry, there continues to be a good mix of speckled trout, puppy drum, and bluefish. It's gotten a little quiet and a little covert, probably because there's a lot of activity going on around the inlets right now. Some really good fishing around the inlets, but the trout are still there to be caught. The drum are still there, the red drum, mostly in the puppy drum size or slightly over the slot. And then, of course, you have some bluefish. And that's not breaking news, but that's good news to know that they're consistently there to be caught. But you really do have to be on your game as far as where you're going to fish and when you're going to fish and what the water is doing. It can be either too salty or too brackish. There's just things like that you have to deal with in the sound. So try to talk to some locals, even go with some local guides is the way to do it. Make sure they're legit too. Make sure they're not just somebody that has a boat and is going to carry you out fishing. But anyway, the backcountry still remains good on the fishing front. And other than that, the only other thing I have is tomorrow we'll start the 45th annual Swansboro Rotary Blue Water Memorial Day Tournament. That is a mouthful of a name for a tournament. Let me do that again. The 45th annual Swansboro Rotary Blue Water Memorial Day Tournament. We have a number of our tournament fishing yachts, primarily privately owned, and a few of our charter boats are down there, and they're fishing that out of Morehead City, which is nothing new. Now, Swansboro, of course, is a little bit further down the coast, but their inlet, which is Bogue Inlet, is only deep enough for an outboard to go through, and then you better be darn careful. So this tournament is an old tournament. This is the 45th annual, and they just fish it out of Morehead City, more dockage, a shipping channel for an inlet, and so that'll be going on, and we will of course keep you updated on what's happening down that way, and do that on Monday when I talk to you again. So I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you have a great Memorial Day holiday, and don't let's forget the reason we have this holiday. I'm looking forward to watching a little NASCAR, a little IndyCar races, and I'll be back to talk to you again on Monday morning.